Hi everyone, welcome to week 9 of English 101 Online. This video is going to introduce you to our third assignment, the proposal. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll kind of move my face over here. So 2 assignments this week, reflection based on the readings for this week, which we'll discuss in a minute, and then an outline for essay 3 that's due between Saturday and Monday. So in this video, I'll explain the assignment, but I also encourage you to read the assignment sheet, look over the examples available on Brightspace, and then let me know, of course, if you have any questions. So one thing I wanted to remind you all is part of the reading we had for last week from You Writing, which focused on persuasive writing, which is essentially a lot of what you do in college level writing, but also in life, is meant to persuade people to believe a position that you have. So this is a part of You Writing I wanted to focus on. So they said in all argument writing or persuasive writing, you give background information and you make a claim, your thesis, and you give evidence to support your thesis. We've talked about those things a lot. Both essay 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are going to need an argument and then your evidence, your support. You often appeal to the interests and emotions of your audience. You keep an ethical and respectful tone, and usually you entertain counter-arguments. You conclude summing up your main points. Remember, you don't argue about things that are self-evident, such as that the sun is in the sky, but about things that can reasonably be debated, such as who will win the Super Bowl this year, and what we should do about our healthcare in our state. You should also choose topics that people care about deeply. It depends ultimately on your audience. So this next essay, part of the reason I wanted to point out this section of You Writing is because our next essay is going to take the idea of audience a little more serious, and also, I want you to keep in mind, just like we talked about in essay 2, how a writer can appeal to an audience's emotions, their sense of logic, their sense of credibility. Those things are also tools that you have as a writer to use to convince someone to agree with you. So that's what this next essay is going to help you to do. The inspiration for this piece is based on a TED Talk called Political Change with Pen and Paper. This is one of the readings for this week, so I won't play it in the video, but please watch it. On the next screen, the next slide, there is some, LOL, sorry. On the next slide, there are some questions you might think about as you watch. Omar in the talk calls politicians strange creatures and compares them to wild animals. Why do you think he does this? Do you agree with him that we live in a digital world, but that we are fairly analog creatures, meaning we're fairly simple creatures? And then a couple ideas about what makes a proposal letter, which we're writing for essay 3, effective. So good things to think about as you watch that video. But let's talk about the assignment itself. So I said this assignment sheet's available on Brightspace in our week 9 area. So the assignment says that you need to write a letter essay in which you propose a change, improvement, or continuation to some part of SWIC, your job, or the town you live in. This is in response to that TED Talk I mentioned. So what you're going to do is you're still going to have an argument that you're making, and you're going to support it with experience, observations, mostly that. Again, not a research paper, but I want you to focus on what you experience and what you can see. You can bring up a problem or a success that you hope to continue in future. Often proposals focus on a problem. Often in the beginning they establish, okay, this is an issue and here's why you should care about it. And then they present evidence to a solution. Here's what we can do about it. Here's why we should do something about it. So a couple things to keep in mind. This is in a letter format. So you are going to say, dear so-and-so, and write specifically to a person or to a group of people. I do ask that you have a specific audience, the president of SWIC, the mayor in your town, the manager at your job. Any of these would be totally okay. The focus on this essay, not only am I asking that you have an argument and that you support it, but that you consider your style and your tone. That's what the You Writing reading this week is going to focus on. How do you utilize word choice and the type of words that you use and the way in which you use them to convince your audience to agree with you? That saying you'll catch more flies with honey than vinegar often applies here. So consider what would appeal to the person you're writing to. Consider who that person is, what you know about them, and what would be most effective to convince them to agree with you. So essentially, proposals call for change. They often focus on the future. and they center around your audience. So those are the 3 things I want you guys to keep in mind. Some things you can do while you brainstorm, and this is what the outline for this week's going to focus on. What are some changes that you'd like to see at SWIC? In Belleville, or if you live in Granite City, or Collinsville, or Waterloo, wherever you live, maybe at your job, in your community. For me, I have, a lot of things I would like to see changed or improved. Maybe I could focus on something in my neighborhood. There's actually a lot of, I live in U City in St. Louis, and it's a gorgeous neighborhood that I love so much. And one thing that I might write to our city council about is the amount of trash around my neighborhood. I walk my dog every day. He's sitting at my feet right now. And I often pick up trash along my way because it really pains me to see that. But there aren't many public trash cans available in the parks around here. And so I might write about that. Or maybe I want to write about an issue I'm having with my classes, and I want to, write to my department chair about help. Those would be things that I might write about, but I encourage you to think about something that you care about and something that you want to see changed. Okay, so the outline, like I said, you're going to start with a variety of ideas and then narrow them down as you go. Consider who you're writing to, why, your tone, what attitude do you plan to use, and then why is this change necessary or beneficial. So you'll also notice that this essay is shorter, and we're going to do 3 weeks for this essay instead of our usual 4. So we won't do a revision plan for this essay, but I'm hoping that it won't be as, it won't need as much revision because of it being shorter and because, proposal letters kind of have a bit of a formulaic approach. So make sure that you look at the examples on Brightspace and to give yourself an idea. If you've ever written a cover letter, that also similar idea. Well, you look at those examples though, ask yourself, what's the author's purpose? Who's their audience? And then what kind of appeals do they use? We talked a lot about ethos, pathos, and logos. Those will appear here as well. And this is a chance for you to actually use them in your writing. So I am excited to see what you guys come up with for this week. And as always, please email me if you need help, if you'd like to meet, if, I don't know, you just want to chat. I'm here, and I will talk to you soon.